Hello everyone, named Jaleesa, JJ Muti, Search Game Reviews, everybody. Happy Halloween, everybody, and now I want to give you my Human Centipede Trilogy review. That's right, I'm actually doing the trilogy review of the Human Centipede. Now, whoever you don't know what the Human Centipede is, basically, it's probably one of the most disgusting trilogies I have ever seen in my life. But since it's Halloween and since there's horror and straight up disturbing stuff in this entire trilogy, let me just say this. That's the reason why it's on this Halloween video. So I'm doing one later on, the American Horror Story top 4 seasons. Check that out, that video. But let's start it off with Human Centipede, the first movie. The first Human Centipede is a guy. It's basically a hermit doctor who was fired for experimental research. Also, he has three dogs. Well, he has one dog that is three dogs altogether. There's one normal dog, and there's a dog attached to the anus of the other dog. So when other dog eats and shits, that's protein, and that goes to another dog. To another dog, just three of them. And that man's dog dies, and he's so depressed, he decides to do this with human people. You see the image in the back? That's Netflix. Right next image you're gonna see, that's a girl's mouth attached to another girl's anus. I'm not even fucking joking. That's what the stories of the Human Centipede are about. It's about a sick person, mentally a person, who's a doctor in the first movie, and he basically just attaches this to these people about their. He just attaches them connectedly to three people from mouth to anus, and then he does it surgically, and it's all about their survival in some cases, and about the horrific of what they have to go through. It's horrific. Out of the first movie, I give it a 4 out of 10 just because of shock value. This movie was shocking and disgusting at the same time. I could not believe someone made a movie like this. And the thing is, though, out of all the Human Centipede movies, this one's the best because it actually shows characteristics of a human being. When these people that he made into a human centipede start refusing him, he starts treating them like dogs. And this survival and this is the only movie of the first one that you actually feel, well, you feel sorry for the victims, but we actually get to know the victims, some of their backstory. And these two girls are just their car broke down, a typical horror stuff. They need a place, a cell phone. This guy kidnaps them, does horrible shit to them. Typical horror movie. But it takes it to a new level of extreme, a new level of the sick and disgusting. 4 out of 10, the first one. 4. I would have just gave it 3, but the shock value, I was just amazed that someone actually made this fucking film. It's disgusting. But will I ever watch this film again? Hell fucking no. Right here we got the Human Centipede 2. You know what this movie's about? A guy wants to make out of 12 people human centipedes. Yup. In the first movie, this guy, you see in the back of me, this crazy fat guy with the glasses, he sees the first Human Centipede movie. And he's like, oh my god, that's awesome. But this movie starts in black and white. This, to me, is the most horrible, disturbing movie I have ever seen in my entire life. This is worse than the Human Centipede 1. Not because of story, because it's not really a story, but by the fact is, it's in black and white. It's mostly like a silent film. And it's just horribly horrific. I mean, I've never been more disgusted in a film than I ever seen in Human Centipede 2. There's this fat guy, lonely guy. He lives with his mother. He sees a Human Centipede movie and he's inspired, and he wants to do the same thing with actual 12 people. The thing is, though, he's not a surgeon. He's not a doctor. He doesn't knock the people out and wake them up. No. He does it regularly with dental floss. With teeth floss, where you clean your teeth? I seen some of that shit. It's disgusting. I watched this movie straight through. I nearly had to gag a couple times because some of it was just too much for me. Now, don't get me started on the rape scene with the barbed wire. That was disgusting. I mean, the main character doesn't even have a really thing. We get he's a lonely guy. He's a loser. He's a lonely guy. I wouldn't call him a loser, but a guy that does this for inspiration just really needs some fucking help. But I was just overly disgusted with the second movie. I mean, there's horrific, and then there's this shit. I mean, this took Human Centipede to a whole new level of. If I'm talking about disgusting value, this movie rate out of 10 out of 10. this was a shock value, I would rate it a 9 out of 10. This is, to me, a little bit, is more shocking, definitely, than the Human Centipede 1. And more gruesome. But out of a movie, I gave a 0 out of 10 because I could never count this as a film. It's a straight up snuff film. I don't even know what you want to call this film. This is a horrific film. I will never watch this movie ever again. You couldn't pay me enough money. Okay, $1 million. Yeah. But this shit? I will never watch this film ever again. I will never watch it straight through. Never ever, no good parts, no good anything, 0 out of 10. Horrible movie. Oh, let me just give you Human Centipede 3. Guess what they did for the third film? The director of the third film, apparently the next guy in the Human Centipede 3, a sheriff, or a guy, the warden of a prison, basically this is his idea. He saw the 2 Human Centipede films, and basically he runs a prison, and he's basically just destroying he's basically mean to his inmates. He's just beating them up, castrating them to teach them lessons. And really, the 2 main actors from the first Human Centipede 1, the doctor, and Human Centipede 2, that big fat lonely guy, they're both in this movie. And the doctor from the first Human Centipede movie, he's just all over the place in this movie. I don't really think there's a plot to this entire movie. And the second, okay, there's a tiny little bit of plot. And then this big fat guy, he's the guy's secretary. And the bright side of this movie, you got porn star Brie Olsen. She's not bad to look at. That's the only reason why I give this movie a good... I just give this movie actually a point. I gave this movie a 1 out of 10 because of the porn star. She's not bad to look at. But if you have to sit through this garbage one more time, this is the general risk. This is the general quick work of what the freaking Human Centipede 3 is. The prison guard, the sheriff, the county, the warden. Since he's about to get fired and since he's dying, he wants to leave a legacy behind in some cases. And also the fact that the governor or the mayor wants to take away his funding for that stuff and wants to fire him. So the secretary, the guy from the Human Centipede 2, just like, we could just put all these people together, one digestive system, we'll save billions. And he does that. They connect to all these prison inmates. They don't want to. There's riots. There's castration. There's so much gruesome shit in this movie. But the bright side about Human Centipede 3, none of the horrific stuff doesn't come till like 20 minutes. It takes a good 20 minutes to just build up this crappy story. So, which one's more rewatchable out of the all 3 Human Centipede movies? I say the first one, I guess. I'll watch the first, then the third, then the second. I'll never watch the second ever again. And I would probably never watch the third if I'm just porn stars in this. Maybe that's it, but if anything, you could just watch her in porn. I mean, this fucking film, the Human Centipede entire trilogy, is just probably one of the most disgusting movie trilogies of all time. I mean, in the third movie, even the director makes an appearance like, oh, this is how I want my original idea. Like, this is actually the fucking director. What the fuck is wrong with you as a human being? Who would make shit like this? The Human Centipede trilogy, if we're looking for the most disgusting trilogy of all time, it's number 1. If we're looking for the probably one, not even worse horror, it is definitely in horror, but there's good horror, like Friday the 13th, Freddy Krueger, yes, killing people, that's not too extreme. But this shit, it's fucking extreme. So if I have to go through all this and say what I would rank it all as a trilogy, I would give this entire trilogy a 3 out of 10. Yes, you heard me, 3 out of 10. Just because of its shock value of a whole as a trilogy of what it brought to this world. Which is abomination shit, disgusting motherfucking craziness from a fucking messed up fucking director. Human Centipede trilogy is god awful. I'll never watch this ever again. Never again. Will I recommend this to people? If I want to hurt people and destroy their lives, yes, I would recommend it to them. But if you want to see one of the most disgusting trilogies of all time, disgusting movies of all times, watch The Human Centipede. Alright, everyone, named Lee, signing off. Everyone, you have a happy Halloween, everybody. Stay tuned for my American Horror Story reviews. Alright, everyone, I'm Lee, signing off. Have a good everybody. Bye.